Hello everybody, welcome back to Sharon from Vivid Days. I am super excited to talk to you about a collaboration I am doing with the wonderful Jules Madison, ArtPreneur. We had a theme of spring and summer. The colours we need to include are blue, pink, red, and add a little bit of texture and bling. And I've decided to do something a little bit different. I've listed all the products that I'm using. Primarily it is oils, but there is some acrylic in there, a little bit of glitter. You know me, I like to sparkle. And what you are going to see is the very first coat that I did. I wanted to add some clouds, and I know I wanted an ocean, and I always like to coat 2 layers to help build up the colours. So this has really been mapping out my composition. And whilst there are aspects of this I really enjoyed, it just wasn't feeling right, not like I wanted it to be. And so I come back and I remove this, but I've kept it in for a reason. 1, so you can see my process and me trying to work it out, and 2, to tell you to never give up, keep reworking something until you are really happy with it. Now there is an amazing artist, I've just put the name up there, Joni Young Art. I'm not too sure if I pronounced that correctly, so I do apologize. And I love her channel. She's somebody that inspires me with her fantasy art, and I've been watching a couple of her oceans, and she blends in this dark ultramarine blue here, or ultra, I'm not sure if it's ultramarine or ultra phthalo, but I'm using ultramarine to try and give you a feeling of shadows under the water, or there might be rocks there, and hers are quite tropical. Anyway, I thought I'd give it a go. Now she does hers with acrylics, I did mine with oils, and because I'm working on this calibration, there was a little bit of a rush of, oh dear, I needed to get this done. Now I did work on a separate piece for this, but I just didn't feel it was the right one. So Jules, if you are watching this, check out my World of Pure Imagination 2, and you'll see the one I originally did, but it just didn't scream spring and summer. It screamed it was pretty, it hit all the criteria, but it just didn't feel like it, and this is the one that I kept feeling. Anyway, you're going to see me go right back to the drawing boards here, adding my second layer of oils. But that's the great thing about oils, you can work on them for days after and manipulate them, and it's all good. And I decided I wanted to bring my sky more softer and not a lot happening, so I kept it more or less as you see it now. Could have probably added a bit of clouds, but because I was going to put a big pop of colour at the front, I felt like I could get away with just a fairly plain background. And I did work on my skyline, the blending there. If you want to know how and why, check out one of my recent videos where you see the big wave crashing, and I sort of share some of that knowledge. But for the purpose of time, you'll see that I am skipping forward with chunks of my video, which is different for me. I usually share the full process, but I'm trying to cater for different audiences, and some people don't want as much information, but I will always make sure I throw in some tutorials. Anyhow, I'm Sharon, I'm digressing. I am just working on the feeling of the ocean, setting my background, and then I'm going to come in and paint the illusion of a foreground and hopefully a pop of colour. So I'm going to leave you to just listen to some music now, but I have enjoyed this calibration. It has pushed me a little bit to try and think differently. I love oceans, I love Jules's channel, so make sure you do pop over there and say hi from me. She's an amazing artist. I love doing collaborations with people. There are so many amazing artists out there, so if I can bring your attention to some of those artists, I will do. But in the meantime, I want you to relax while I put some music on, and I'll come back and revisit you in a little while. Blossom. It's not realism, it's a suggestion, and it was very hard because I was working wet on wet. So with oils you should really wait a week between each layer, but like I said, I had a challenge. However, because it was a thin coat of oils, it was quite forgiving, and when I was putting my flowers on, I was putting fairly thick paint on there. And these colours really do complement each other. However, you could lose your flowers into that background if you don't layer up darks and light shades just to help those lighter colours really pop. And I'm imagining a suggestion of where they will be and filling in the blanks. Now you could keep your leaves and blossoms a lot sparser than what I did, but what I found is that I just wanted a contrast, and I add even more leaves down the side, and you'll see that towards the end. But for the purpose of the video, I didn't show you watching. Didn't film. No, I didn't share with you 100% the full process, just the chunks. Anyhow, so when I was putting the leaves out, I was trying to work out, okay, which would be shaded, which would be not. And I was a little bit scared when I first started drawing, or should I say painting, because I didn't want to ruin my ocean. However, as I went on and the confidence grew, it was just slap it on really. Just get your tones in there, multiple colours on your brush, and go for it. And the 3 waves that I put in the background, I ended up wiping those out because I felt like it distracted and it removed perspective when I added something else that you'll see shortly. Anyhow, majority of the colours currently are oils, and it's all the reds that I'm using. And then a couple of days later I come in and add the pop of acrylic, which is the fluorescent colours, just to pick out a few highlights and lowlights. And this is where I start to work on a little bit of shading and work out if I am happy. So I tend to leave it in a place where I'm walking past and I look at it and see, am I happy with the composition? Am I happy with the colours? Is there anything that irritates me? But at this point I was thinking, holy moly, how am I going to fit in bling? I was contemplating, do I have a starfish and I glitter it up? And in the end, what I decided was I had the tiniest little bit of glitter on the leaves and the flowers so that you can't see it from the front, but depending on where you display it, the glitter catches either the sun or the light, and it just adds to that sparkle and mystical effect, or magical. And for me, I'm really drawn to the ocean, and I think that's because we're all in isolation, and I think of all those bright pink colourful flowers, and that to me screams summertime, and a lot of that was from Australia, and the love of that over there, and where I'm really missing. So to me this really does scream summertime. And again, it's a suggestion, it's not realism or anything like that, but hopefully it does cast you away to me and you imagine being on your family holiday. This is where hopefully you can see I'm adding the fluorescent pink, and there's just enough there to make some of it pop. Now initially I added too much, so I go back and cover some more of them darker, because I think the more you go, it's not a suggestion, whereas if you just have a few of them, it helps with that highlighting of, okay, that part there is just capturing the sun, or that part there is in the shade. Anyway, so for the purpose of this video, what you'll not see is me wipe out those two waves, the one behind the leaves, they've got to stay there, but that adds, oh sorry, not my mic, adds a little bit of character. But because it was oils, it was just a matter of getting my brush, blending the white foam off, and then just adding a little bit blue and green back in there. Bob's your uncle, you've got a smoother ocean. Anyway, I'm Sharon, I'm digressing. I'm going to let you watch this, and when you see me add my boat, that's my very first boat, and I'm really chuffed with that. Anyway, let me give you some more music to relax to. You've heard enough of my voice. Jules, I hope you're enjoying. When I think of you, I think elegance, I think tranquility, I think calming, and I hope that you like my take on our collaboration. And as you can see down the right hand side of the screen, I've added more leaves. I wanted a bit more green to come through, and I also wanted some of the other branches to look further away and a little bit lighter. And I just think it's a really happy piece. My boat, I'm very happy for my first boat. I've even put my initials on the sails, SL. I think from a proportion point of view, the boat maybe could have been smaller. Having said that, when I look at that section of it, I just love it. And I think I'm going to come by and revisit a couple of boats. Yes, I'll perfect it, but I'll enjoy it. And you may or may not be able to see, there's a little bit of glitter that is just on the flowers and the leaves. And as I've mentioned before, it does sparkle. Now, it's not tacked it, it's a choice. You may not want to do that, but for me it just helps make it feel happier. It just screams summertime to me and holidays. But I'd love your thoughts on it. Do you think that I've met the criteria of the challenge? What do you think to this composition? I know the colours are a little bit bold and in your face, but that's just me sometimes. Anyway, I'd love your thoughts, and I hope wherever you are safe and well. Thank you for all your support. Remember, thumbs up, subscribe, share, comments are always welcome. Thank you, Jules. I can't wait to pop over and see your video. Make sure you go and support her and say hello from me. Until then, I'll see you on the next video. Bye.